Good morning. It's so nice to be with you, as always. We are going to share a true story with you today, and we've called this story Organizers.
Mm. So tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Dr. King was a great civil rights leader. He was really good at imagining a better world. And he was exceptionally good at finding the words, and the right moments to help other people imagine a better world too. What he called the beloved community. Dr. King knew that there wasn't a fast, easy way to build the beloved community. He knew that one or a few people couldn't make the changes on their own. But he believed that real change would happen if we could work together and keep working for our whole lives toward that more loving world.
Martin Luther King Jr. was an organizer, and an organizer is a person with clear vision and deep commitment to making the world a better place by bringing many people together to build a strategy for change. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't the first organizer to come along, and he definitely didn't work alone. He became a really powerful voice in the civil rights movement, but it had started long before he was born, and it's still growing and evolving today. So this morning, we want to tell you about some more organizers, new leaders who have joined the movement that King gave his life to. And our story takes place in a state called Georgia.
Georgia is a beautiful state. If you drive south from here, Georgia comes after South Carolina before you get to Florida. Each state in the US elect their own politicians, which is a little complicated to explain, but basically, politicians are people who propose laws and decide how our government spends its money. For a long time, politics in Georgia have been controlled by the same group of people. And to keep their power, those politicians have spent a lot of time and energy finding ways to limit who can vote in Georgia. Voting has been so unfair that many votes, especially the votes of many Black folks, are not included in election results. Now, there are actually a lot of people in Georgia who haven't been happy about how their politicians have chosen to use their power for the last many years. But over the past few decades, even the politicians from other states who say they want to make things better for people who are struggling in our country haven't done much to make voting fair in states like Georgia. And it has been hard for many people to believe that this could ever change. So lots of people in Georgia had stopped voting altogether.
But there's a woman in Georgia named Stacy Abrams, and she believed that if she could help people have hope and inspire everyone to vote, even though they faced big challenges in having their votes counted, then together the people in Georgia could make changes. And Stacy Abrams knew that she wasn't the only person who thought this was true. Remember, we said at the beginning of this story, change doesn't happen because of one person. Stacy Abrams is an organizer, and she works with other organizers who are also really smart and really strategic.
Latasha Brown was one of those women. She founded an organization called Black Voters Matter, along with a man named Cliff Albright. Their organization works to give power to Black voters and people of color who are running for office.
Mhm. And Helen Butler is another leader in today's Southern movement for change. She's worked to protect Georgia's voters and to build relationships between Georgia and the states around it, working with the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda.
Yep. And Ufot was a trained lawyer, but now she works as the CEO of the New Georgia Project. Nsei's organization is known for being innovative in how it blends civil rights with civic technology. She's a really smart lady.
And Tamika Atkins, the executive director of Pro Georgia, who works in a similar way to Stacy Abrams, bringing organizers together so they can support each other's efforts.
And finally, Aisha Yaqub Mahmood, who leads the Asian American Advocacy Fund, a grassroots organization dedicated to building a politically conscious, engaged, and progressive Asian American base in Georgia.
Now, that's only a handful of them, but these women and men connected with people all across the state of Georgia. And there are so many brave, clear voices, and each one of them represents thousands more. The movement toward change is a movement of many, many people.
This past year, leading up to November's election, and then since November, as Georgia prepared for their Senate runoff, all those people and many others worked tirelessly to elect the progressive candidates running for change. Collectively, they helped register over 800,000 new voters this year. That's almost 1 million people in just one state. In the past few months, many of our own South Church members were a part of the movement to support the work of those organizers in Georgia and all across our country. We sent donations, joined phone banks, and wrote postcards to help inspire people to vote.
And Shatara Byfield, she was once a South Church kid, and now she works as an organizer too. In December, she flew to Georgia from her home in Los Angeles, California, to help with the last push of effort to get out the vote for their special election. And guess what? The elections in Georgia happened on January 5th, and both of the candidates that all these amazing people were fighting for won their elections. Georgia voted for change. That was something a lot of people didn't believe was possible, but it happened just a few weeks ago.
There isn't a lot we can do alone in this world, but all together, when our mission is clear, there isn't a lot we can't do. So whenever you are feeling hopeless, remember the story of Georgia. Dr. King said, "Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love."
We love you, and we'll see you soon.